Here we go. Hello, everyone. It's Annette Green here. Hopefully, I am live dual streaming for Elizabeth Craft Designs. I'm going to open the chat here. Today, we're going to do something really fun. I hope you guys like this. We're going to stretch our supplies, right? We're going to use dies for stenciling, for jelly printing. We're going to use some stamps as well to kind of enhance things. Hey, Doris. So this is my first time dual streaming and you're coming from YouTube, so that's great. There's Lori. Hey. Welcome, y'all. Hey, Deb. Hey, Deb. See, I don't see last names. There's Karen. I do see Karen's last name. So Karen is here from Facebook, so her full name is there. Belinda's here. Susanna's here. Oh, yay. This is working, you guys. Yay. Dual streaming. Me. Hey, Patricia. Hey, Andrea. Welcome, welcome. We are going to have so much fun, I hope. Hey, Sylvia. Sylvia, are you still traveling? Miranda's here. Leslie. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Vicky. Yeah, this is going to be fun because you never know what's going to happen. Did I just see Debbie English? There's Ellie. Yeah, I can only see 2 comments at a time, so I hope I don't miss you guys. Hey, Anita. Hey, Deborah. Danneke, Jane is here from Denmark. Dimpna is here. Awesome. Okay, so yes, if you guys ask me something and I don't see it, I only see 2 comments and then they disappear. So just ask it again. I'm going to do my best to kind of keep track. Hey, David. Debka's here from YouTube. Yay. Terry. Hey, Terry. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around right away because we have a lot to do. We're going to play with dies and make some backgrounds, and I'll share some helpful tips. Okay, so let's turn this around. Kind of tilt this down a bit or up a bit. Let's see. Yeah, I'm in my little circle. Okay, good morning, Karen. Good evening, Sandra. This is awesome that this is working from both platforms for me. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. Petri, Robin. Yes, don't forget to like, comment, and share. And I did forget to ask who's going to be live on Monday, so we'll see. But Monday is the day they draw the winner. Whoever's liking, commenting, and sharing, they get a $50 gift certificate. You're entered into the drawing, so don't forget to comment and say stuff. Okay, so I'm going to get right to it. Hey, Astra Yankee. I'm going to get right to it, and I'm going to give you a tip right off the start, okay? We're going to do some gel printing, but I know a lot of people are not into gel printing, so we're also going to do some stenciling so that you have an alternative. But right away, I wanted to tell you that I like to use Bristol as my paper when I'm making stencils or I'm doing gel prints. And Bristol can be found at, art stores, craft stores, whatever. I buy a big pad and I cut it down into smaller pieces. But it's really nice because it's super sturdy and it takes all kinds of media, watercolor, paint, alcohol marker. It holds up really great. Hey, Kathy from Virginia. Hello from Virginia. Were you at the show, Kathy? Were you one of my friends I met there? I'm just checking. So when I do use the Bristol and I make it into a stencil, let's say, or even something for the gel plate, I just put some masking tape around the edges and that just extends the paper a little bit. And so what I've done here, and here's my first tip. I have taken the fresh fruit die from my new Sunny Days release and I cut out the orange in the large size and the smaller size. And then these 2 circles are just additional ones that are a little bit smaller, and they're from the Tag Variety Pack. So it's this small circle right here. That you can save. I did 2 of them, and I'll save them for stamping or whatever later. But the good thing about doing this is you get dual purpose from these. So you don't want to use the big circle that has nothing in it to make these circles. You actually want to use the this guy with the actual sections in it, because we're going to use that for gel printing. So dual purpose. You've made a circle pattern kind of stencil, but you're also going to use these. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Petra. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm glad you like the new dies. And I love this fresh fruit die too. Anya, thank you very much. I'm glad you do. And look at the fruit emojis. Cute. Okay. So we are going to play with this, but I'm going to put it aside for a second because we're going to dive right into making some gel prints. And this came about, it's a funny little story, and I hope maybe Els is not here today. I don't know. I'm gonna tease on her a little bit because when I was at the show in Virginia, I was demoing at the table in the Elizabeth Craft Designs booth, and I made this card, but I was making a background from basically a stencil that I created on the spot from the fresh fruit. And this is what I brought it home. This is what I was using. So I made this background. I'm going at it, and Els comes over my shoulder. Now, it didn't have all the fruit on it yet, and she was kind of like, like she didn't really like it. She was teasing me, like, don't stick those things on with, a lot of adhesive, because maybe I'll pull those off later. But I had faith in myself, and I kept going, and I stamped the background after I stenciled it and made this card, and it's been pretty popular. So you can't judge too early when you're doing these things is the point. You have to kind of keep going, keep playing until, you get to a certain point. And even then you might do a big print and say, well, I'm not thrilled with that, but I'll show you why it's great not to judge even at the end. Okay. But here is a fun sample that I did when I was practicing yesterday, and all greens and bright greens and dark greens. This was just a throwaway basically, but I used it anyway, and I'll tell you about how that comes about later. Did this one kind of playing around using some different materials, and then some don't turn out so great, but I still wouldn't throw this away. Okay, same with this one. It's a little muted, but you can still use it. And this one, just not nuts about the color kind of thing. So it is very much trial and error when you're doing these. But I don't throw anything away because like these, for example, this was okay. I just did a big background of this kind of burgundy red, and then I stamped it with my pretty large nature stamp with black. And I've been using that to make tags and all kinds of stuff. So even if you don't think, oh, that's not that great, you can definitely use it. So I'll show you a lot of that. Never throw it away, right, Karen? Right. Cindy's here. Good reason to stay inside and watch a nice live. Well, you have bad weather, Cindy. Is that what I'm understanding? So I welcome you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And we're going to get right into the fun. So I have cut several of these. And believe it or not, I've been using the same ones over and over and over yesterday. And they're still holding up great. I could use these right now. But just to kind of show you with a fresh one, we're going to do these. So I have like 3 of each size. Actually, I have 4, but I don't think I'm going to need that many. And I got my paints over here and my little bad weather here in Texas too, huh? Oh, hey, Linda from Northern California. So this is sort of, I'm going to start right off on my little, this is my little jelly plate. It's a 4x6, but I have this little bar here. So if you are planning to do layers, you would cut a 5x7 piece, and this is Bristol again, and you line it up. It's like an alignment guide, and you pull that away and you press, and then you peel it up. And if you do another layer, you just put that back, and it's the perfect alignment tool. So there is like a little gel press kit that has that little tool in it, and it comes with the gel plate, in case you didn't know that. Cindy Graham, Nicole is here. Yes, don't forget to like, comment, and share. So we're going to start off with a kind of a greeny, dark greeny blue color. And we might mix in, let's mix in just a little bit of a bright olive green. And we're not really going to mix the colors. We're going to try to keep it interesting and have a little variation going on in here. So I have a couple of little blobs of that lighter green in there. And then you also want to have on hand some scrap paper or another gel plate and you can make another print, but I just have some scrap paper off to the side. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to lay some of our die cuts down on the gel plate. Okay, and I do have some leaves over here, and I recommend putting these face down, especially if they have a little embossing, which these do, because that kind of shows up in the print later. Cool. I even have some the little flowers from the fresh fruit. We'll put some of those there. Again, face down. And maybe that one there. And maybe another leaf. Gel printing is so unpredictable. So it's scary and fun at the same time. If you've ever done it, you know exactly what I mean. Let's get a bigger flower. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Now, I'm going to take the Bristol and I'm going to press it on there. I think some kind of older stamp help. Femke, I don't know what you answered to her, but thank you for helping out. So this isn't really the print that I'm wanting, but I'm going to do what they say. I don't know what they call this. Is this the ghost print where you do the first one? And you can just press this with your hands, but I have this cool Baron tool, they call it. So I'm just going to use it. It's a little easier on my hands. It's got a big wide surface area. And all I'm doing is kind of pushing those dies into the paint. You can always just paint over and start again. Oh yes, always. I'm pushing. Okay, so this is not my print, but I will use this. So I won't throw that away. But that was just to lift that extra green around there. And now comes the fun part. And these don't go in the trash. We use these over and over and over. So here's the fun part. And here's what I've learned about gel printing. Because every time I do it, I learn something new. And the one thing that I think is key is you need to, if you're going to layer a lot of different layers, you need to let each layer dry. So I have my little nifty tool here, which is just a double piece of cardstock, and I'm going to fan this dry because you don't really want to use heat. Bristol Smooth or Bristol Mixed Media. It is Bristol Smooth. Is that what you use, Belinda? You'll have to let me know because, oh, she asked about the corner thing. This comes with the gel plate. It's called like the Perfect Border Kit. So you get the 4x6 gel plate and this little guide bar thing. So I don't know who asked that, but hopefully that's it. Oh yeah, Belinda, that's what you use. It's like ironing your paper. Yes, it is, Sylvia. Sylvia, are you still traveling? I've been following along best I can. I'm kind of exhausted watching your adventures so much. Okay, it doesn't take long because I didn't put a thick layer of paint on there. Okay, so now we're going to do our real print. So let's say we're going to go in with some yellow this time. Okay. Now you can, if you have 2 gel plates, you can mix this off to the side. I'm just touching in between places so I don't smear it. It is dry, it shouldn't smear, but you never know. And then I'll use this guy again. Now we could pull our print right from this and it would be really great, but you can go one step further while this paint is wet and you can start doing stuff in there. So like you can take the cap to a little jar or the jar itself, or the cap to, let's say, a spray stain, and you can do little circles. So I'm just going to twist that in there, kind of randomly here and there, till I like it. And then I could do some bigger ones if I want, and I guess I want because I'm doing it. There, and maybe one more here. I'm just making sure I'm kind of overlapping things. That's fun. Okay, so I'll put those over there in case I want to use those again. This is all right on the gel plate. This is all right on the gel plate. Yes, yes it is. So I'm going to let this dry as well. Like I said, you could pull a print, but you have better luck if you let them dry. And then we're just going to, because we're putting it on white paper, we're going to use some white paint as the lifting paint. Okay, that'll look really cool. Make sense in a minute. Thank you, Anya, for helping out. Thanks, Sandra. Thank you, thank you. Okay, again, I didn't use a very thick layer of that yellow, which is good. The thicker it is, the longer it takes to dry and the more you have to wait and the less fun it becomes, okay? So if I was going to put this back onto here, I would put my little guide thingy down and then just line it back up again. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a fresh print. As long as you don't hurt the gel plate, deformities will be shown forever. Yeah. And that's why I don't use heat and I don't scratch at it with anything. You know, that was just a very light touch of a plastic jar. No rolling comments. Oh, Irma, you have, this is new. Okay, awesome. All right, this is just, oops, this is just basic white paint. Not too much. White, transparent mixing white, doesn't matter. As long as it's white and your paper's white. And you just want to make sure you got enough on there. This is maybe a little thicker layer than the other two. And that's a little more important on this last lifting paint color. Okay, so now we'll grab our little thingamabob. And like I said, everything has to dry. So if I pulled this up right now, nothing would happen. That white paint maybe would come up, but none of that other stuff. So this is where you have to set it aside to dry or give it a minute, put it under some weight. You play on the jelly plate with your grandchildren, Nicole. Oh, that's a nice idea. I feel like, oh, I mean, it's fun for everybody, but I think kids would really get a kick out of it because it's just so different every time and you can play. You know, you can put rubber bands and string in the paint and all kinds of household things. Kind of just teach them to use what you have at the house. So Karen, you keep debating whether or not to get a gel plate. I think you at least get the small one and play a little bit. You know, it doesn't take up a lot of space, but it is so much fun. Okay, so definitely nothing is happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this whole thing up and I'm going to put it behind me on a different table with a weight, like a tub of stuff that's really heavy. So I'll be right back. Okay, and it really doesn't take too long. Well, you're just going to give it a couple minutes and I'll use my other gel plate. I have another one besides this. Oh, feathers would be cool. Yeah, Belinda. I need to get some feathers. I think that'd be fun. Okay, this is my 5x7, so we might as well play around with that one. Okay, let's do some flowers this time. And let's do a little bit of red, maybe. I think that would be fun. Just a little, because this is a very strong red. And we might even work in, what? If we put yellow, it's going to turn orange, of course. This is the 5x7. Yeah, that's your favorite size? Yeah. I don't want this to turn purple, but I am going to put a little pink here. We can always adjust after we see how it spreads here. Going for, yeah, that's good. A little bit lighter pinkish red. It's kind of fun. And the more I roll, the more it just blends and mixes rather than having a splotchy look. So you could do some fun things like grab something with some texture. You know, like I don't have tiny bubble wrap, but I have this big stuff. You could do like a textured paper towel. I have a sponge. I think I'm going to put some little spongy marks in here just to give it some texture. And I can rinse this and use it over and over because this is just water-based acrylic paint. Hey, Sue Walker. Thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing. Hey, Joe. You're a little late. That's okay. Watch the replay later. We just got started, really. Okay, so let's do some flowers. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a whole bunch of flowers. So I'm just going to start randomly throwing them on here before this paint dries, because we want to get that same impression like we got with the oranges or the fruit. So I'm not thinking about it too hard. I'm just slapping them down. And again, this is the embossed side of the flower, so you're going to get that little print when you pull it. You know, that little bit of design in the flower. Oh, I had just enough. Look at that. Make sure you have some coming off the edges. Okay. Give us a board. So not only will we have the flowers, but we'll have the texture from the sponge in between areas. Make my own pretty plaid background. Ooh, plaid. That would be kind of tricky. I would love to see if you do that. Joanne is here. She finally caught alive, she said. And she's here from YouTube. That's awesome. Here on YouTube. Okay, there's that. Let's see what we get on this one. Well, not a whole lot. I think the paint was starting to dry, but I'm still not throwing that away. You can still make things work. So if you're going to do a print like that, where you're putting in something, make sure you move quickly and the paint is still a little bit wet. Try not to let it dry. It's a little bit dry in here. Layered hummingbird, yay! Anya, have you tried it yet? Have you used it? I'm glad you like it. That's a fun one. The hummingbird's coming into play later when I put together an ATC with one of my gel prints. Okay, so there's that. Let that dry like before. And I think we're going to put maybe some orange on top of this. We'll see. What do you guys think? Orange? Teal? Nah. We've already done some green. Maybe we'll do a little orange, a little mix of red and yellow, and see how that comes out. We could do like a bright green. That's really contrasty. We'll see. Okay, that should be dry. So what do we want to do? We'll do some yellow. Maybe we'll just do yellow. So many options. All right, let me get a new piece of that. I got a whole bunch of scrap paper over here. It's the other side of stuff I can't show you. Hint, hint. Whoa, okay, that's heavy. That is very heavy. We're going to make that work. So if you go too heavy like that, I did not realize, you can just kind of clean your brayer and take a little bit away. No worries. Okay. And then just like before, if we want to do a little more texture in here, let's do that. I'm going to do the sponge again, because now we're working with more surface area. So let's really push that sponge in there. I think that's going to be cool. There's so many things around the house. Egg cartons. We want to see what you cannot show us. Sorry, can't. It's like way too early for that, because that's stuff that's not happening until September, I think. Okay, we gotta let that dry. So we'll give that a little fan. Papercraft D is here. I'm happy that I'm seeing Facebook and YouTube comments. This is my first time, so this is great. And I hope everybody caught, you like my paint bottles. Do you make the paint in them from tube paint? Yes, I do. So these, I just get these bottles on Amazon and I put my own labels on them. But you can buy a whole bunch, you know how Amazon is, super cheap. And because I was finding that my tubes, which are like, you know, tubes like this from the craft store, the cap gets in the way when you try to squeeze the paint out, you know, and it was bothering me. So I put them in there and I have them in a bottle rack over here upside down. So they're all stored this way. And the paint is always at the ready. You don't have to wait for it to run down to the tip of the bottle. So that's kind of handy. Okay, I think we're good. We're going to get some white paint on this one, just like before, and make a print and go grab the other one and see how it did. Hopefully it'll work. What did you say you used to hold the paint bottles? It's a bottle drying rack. So people who, and I'll show you in just a minute, Belinda, people who like maybe make their own beer, wash their bottles themselves, you know, sterilize, or baby bottles if you have a couple of kids and or a lot of baby bottles going in the house. It's a bottle drying rack. And it actually works perfectly with these particular bottles. I'll show you. Okay, so there's our white. Take that down a little bit. Okay. New piece of paper. This one is the same size as the jelly plate. So give that a press, and then we're going to come back to this one later. We'll go grab the other one. No sneak necessary. I press when it's wet too. Oh, I don't know how to go back up to comments that went by too fast. Not sure how to do that just yet. Your bottles look great and handy to use at that rack. Yeah, so I'll show you, Belinda. It's very big. And it has a little catch pan. But this is it, basically. So it has all those holes, and then it has a little catch tray that's the same size in case stuff drips out, or if you're draining bottles that you're washing. It's pretty handy. It has served me well. All right, so I'm going to put this one over where the other one is. Plate and paper. Look at through there. Isn't that cool? Okay, and here's the other one from the underside. It looks like it's going to come out really good. Very cool, huh? Thanks, Donna. All right, let me see. I'll clean this in a moment. I just really hope this comes out because, yeah, oh, it's going to come out. All right, so it does work better to gently peel the jelly plate off the paper as opposed to trying to peel the paper off the plate. So that's pretty cool. Do you see how surprised I am? So do you see the little details with the circles in white? That's kind of fun, right? This is exciting, isn't it, Linda? You got to try it. It's so much fun. So that'll make a really fun background for a card. I have some limes over here that I'm going to color later, and we'll make a little card with that one. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Okay, awesome. Yeah, Els and I were messaging before this, and I said, I just hope everything turns out the way I want, because you never know with a jelly plate. You just don't know what you're going to get, and that's the fun of it, too. It's a little surprise every time. So thank you, guys. You like that? That's great. All right, so now we're going to play around. Let's say you don't have a jelly plate, you don't want to get one, or you don't like it, or you're just too intimidated. Well, we can use our dies as stencils to make stencils. And that's not really anything new, but I'll just show you what I've been playing with. Thank you, Anki. Thanks, Leslie. So glad you like it. Good, 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 good. All right, we're done with the jelly plate. Put this stuff away. And now we'll do a little stencil action. And we'll do the orange again. And so you see how, you know, the orange die has the inside with the sections, but it also has the outer part that it's going to cut away. So if you make it into a stencil, you just have to pop that back in because it just cuts a big hole. Like I showed you earlier. If I just die cut the section die, that's what you get. So you have to put that piece back in, and I don't know if you can see it, but I do have tape all around each one of these to pop that back into place from the underside. So just have to remember that. Karen, I really hope you do try it. It's very fun. Very, very fun. Okay, let's do a little oxide coloring with some oranges. So I have a bunch of colors over here. And I'm going to show you a little alternative one that I did after I did one way. I tried it another way. Okay, so here's this. I've got mustard seed, carved pumpkin, and rusty hinge. And they're oxides. They could be regular distress. It does not matter for this. And I'm not going to just, do 1, 2, 3. And I see a little broken spot in that one, so I'll have to be careful. I'm going to go wherever I want to and keep moving this around. So because I have that little broken spot, I'm going to kind of be very gentle in the center. And I'm pulling inward instead of swirling in a circle because I think that's how I broke it in the first place. Okay, so that's good. And before you shift it around, you have to do all your colors at once. So next is the carved pumpkin color. So I'm just going to come out from that center, my little broken spot there. And I'm purposely doing little sweeps so it looks a little bit like the inside of an orange instead of, solid color. And now I'll go in with my rusty hinge on the outside edge. And because it's oxides, even the other, you can blend this so nicely. I had a hard spot there, but you can go back with your other colors and just kind of blend them out. Get rid of that blob pretty easy. Regular distress, a little bit harder to do that with. Okay, so there's one, and it looks a little weird, but it's okay. I don't judge yet. So then I would do my next one. I might do a small one, and I'm going to overlap just a tiny bit right there. Just do the same thing. Same colors, everything. You could do this with all greens if you wanted to and do like a lime kind of background. Whatever you wish. Hey, Els. Okay, yeah. You'll have to watch it back because I know that you kind of, you're a little bit intimidated, maybe a little by the jelly plate. And I did that at the beginning, so you'll have to watch that. Just so much fun. Okay, there's that one. Now maybe we'll do another big one here. I'm going to pull inward because of that little broken spot. Keep these straight. We'll watch that for sure. Okay, good. Nicole, what is pan pastel? Oh, Sue. Well, Nicole can answer you herself. However, pan pastels they come in those little pans, basically. They're very creamy. They have sort of similar properties, wouldn't you say, Nicole, as the oxides? They blend nicely. They're creamy. They're forgiving. There's a lot of colors. Yes, the rolling comments are back. I did a restart of my tablet. Oh, okay. So they just kind of got stuck, I guess, huh, Katie? Okay, well, there you get the idea, right? So we could continue on and make a full background of this. It'd be super pretty. And I did basically the same thing here in the background. Hard to see because I have a whole bunch of fruit on top of it. But afterwards, because I wasn't sure if I liked it as much, I stamped with that big nature stamp in black on the top. So the background has got a little bit of black stamping on it, just for a little bit of detail. I really do want to finish this, but I don't want to take up the whole time. Pastel powder in a pot. Yeah, basically that's it, but it's creamy, right? Okay, So I'm going to just show you what happens if we add a little bit of water to this one, and then we'll do another one with some flowers. So I love to add a little water to distress. That's always fun to watch and see what happens. Just kind of makes things bloom out and blend. So I'm just gonna, you have to imagine, oh, look at that. You have to imagine it's the whole sheet full of these things. And so that you don't have those hard lines, it starts to blend and bleed together. It's very cool. And then you can go in with your same ink, and if you have these spaces in between you don't want to be white, you can kind of just swirl the color in there, spray it again. Very, very, very fun. Okay, we'll put that aside. I don't know that we'll get back to that one later. We'll just keep going. I want to show you what we can do with this little guy. When we do our flower one, we'll make sort of a crazy background, and you'll be like, what are you doing, Annette? But you just wait and see. Okay, fresh piece of Bristol. Thanks, Karen. Pan pastels make me think of makeup. Yeah, that's what they kind of look like. They look like little makeup tins. That's true. Okay, so I'm going to grab this. So this, look at this. It's Well Loved and Worn, and I just used it yesterday like a million times, but it's the same deal as I showed you earlier as this. So I just used the flowers from the fresh fruit and just kept moving the die around different ways, and then I put tape around the edges. Bristol, same, put tape on the edges, and I've used it a million times, and it's still holding up great. So what we can do here is pick some fun colors. So we'll go with lots of shades of pink. Picked raspberry, worn lipstick, abandoned coral. And we'll just start having some fun, same way. Now we could do the circles first. Maybe we should do the circles first. Yeah, let's do the circles first. Okay, switching gears a little bit. I'm going to lay the circles down first. I don't think it matters, but I'm going to use a little bit of yellow. So back to mustard seed. And I think I'll use a little bit bigger blender, so I'm going to use my big soft brush here. You could spray. You could use like distress spray. I find that it's a little bit speckly and harsh for what I want to do here, so I'm not going to do that. But I did do it yesterday. I'll show you some samples. So we're just going to lay down some circles in our background. I'm not going super heavy because we're going to go over this with pink. A lot of flowers. But I can use this stencil over and over and over. Many, many times. And because I'm always saying it to you guys, I need to do it too. I don't want to stay just on the page, so I'm going to take a couple of these and go off the edge. Always much more interesting to have some things going off the edge. If you ever do a planner page or anything like that, if you keep everything floating within the page, it just has a different feel. It just looks so much better when you go off the edge a little bit. So I try to practice that myself. And then, of course, to have things overlapping is good. We won't do overlapping on this, but we will be doing that with the flowers, just not with the circles. Okay, that's pretty fun. That looks good. So that's it for my yellow. Now we'll do this guy. And we'll just lay it right on top. And we'll start with worn lipstick. And just start blending some color. Yeah, I'm glad that I chose yellow as the base because it looks really great with all these different pink and that abandoned coral. It's really pretty. So just randomly moving around. We could leave some of them yellow and not cover them with the ink. I'm going to focus on the white areas mostly. And I'm just just for ease, I'm going to use the same color the whole time and then switch to the next color. I'm curious how many people saw, so we go for a cheese look. Yes, a Swiss cheese. How many people saw the reel yesterday, either on Facebook or Instagram, the little teaser reel about this? And if you did, is that why you're here? Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, I think it's kind of a pretty cheerful, bright, and colorful background this time, for sure. Oh, you know what? We need to go check that other gel print before I get too far. Yeah, let's do that. So, I mean, this is what it looks like so far. We'll come back to this. It's okay. All right, let's take a look at this one. Almost forgot. And I started to say earlier that I have experimented with different papers, and it's also why I like to use Bristol. Thinner papers will tear. I had it happen to me yesterday where half of the paper was still on the plate. So it was a hot mess and I had to wash my plate. But this is pretty interesting. There's quite a lot of yellow on there. I would definitely use this on an ATC for a background. You could do all kinds of stamping on here and embellish this even further. You could stencil on here later when it's really, really dry. So that's fun. I'm glad we didn't forget about that. Okay, now line this back up and we'll go in with our picked raspberry. Linda, I did, and that's why I'm here. Oh, awesome. Okay, that's great. Great to hear. So picked raspberry is a little bit brighter. So we'll just quickly get a bunch of this on here. When I was doing this yesterday, I was like adding and adding and adding and spraying, and I was like, this is a hot mess. And then it just, the magic is when you cut this down, right? So you could use this on a background of a card and it'll be pretty, but when you cut it down to like ATC size, that's when it really is amazing what happens. And I learned that little concept from Dina Wakely with Ranger at the time. And she told us just to make a big old page of prints, just wacky, just circles, just scribbles, all kinds of things. But we were cutting it all down into circles to adorn something. And it was just the coolest effect you never would think that you would get from cutting it down. And so when I started making ATCs from these prints yesterday, I was sold. That was it. I liked it. Okay, so I have a couple of yellow ones. Let's do this one. We might leave some yellow. I think that'll be all right. But not too many. Okay. Okay, it's all right, right? But now we want to maybe do some sprays just to add a little something. So, what color? I think I'm going to have to grab a little pink behind me because I have here cracked pistachio, maybe a little bit too much. Salty ocean is very blue, and fossilized amber is yellow, which we have plenty of already. So I'm going to grab a pink behind me. Got all my stress sprays here, so we'll go with worn lipstick, see how that does. And, oh, a green might be fun. Twisted citron. Let's see. This is part of it. I just don't know. Little black lines or circles or such will make it pop. Yes, definitely. Oh, yes, and I meant to say that. So yesterday when I did my one, where I overlapped a bunch of oranges, I did go back with a fine tip black pen and I outlined all the segments. And I just think that'll be really cool on a card as well. So definitely black ink would be great. Okay, here we go. We want to keep it, let's flip it this way. So everything is going to get a little something. See what happens. And I always make sure I got some paper towels off to the side because the sprays are very liquid and heavy. And that would take forever to dry. So I just do a real quick touch and lift that off. And lift this off. Oh, it's getting more fun, isn't it? I kind of like it. All right, we got to let that dry. For sure. So let's put that aside for just a second and clean up. I don't want to put anything in it. We could keep like letting that dry, putting another layer of color. But you got to be careful not to go too heavy, too crazy. Just take a moment because see here we have green and pink mixing and it makes a little bit of a brown color. So if you see any spots like that that bother you, you can kind of lift it with your paper towel like so. That's good. That's kind of very fun and cheerful, right? Let's put a little heat on that. You could lay another piece of paper on top to pick that ink up. Yes, it wouldn't be really strong because it's not paint, it's actual ink. But you could try that for sure. Definitely. Thank you, Anya. What gray mat am I using? This is from Tim Holtz. It's some sort of media mat. Can you guys hear me when I have my heat going? Just some people asking questions about the plate. Just thought of a very important tip. Oh, that got away from me very quickly. What is the best way to store spray inks? Well, I just store them in the bottles that they come in, and then I put them in a big bin. This is one of those refrigerator bins, you know. So I have a little label and it sits right on my shelf. But they're in the bottles that they come in. Okay, so I would tend to want to fill in some of those white spaces with some color. So I'm going to go back to my lightest pink, worn lipstick, and my little dauber and start blending some of that in there. And this might be where you're like, no, don't do it. Hang on. It's okay. Right, else? You never know till the end how it's going to be. So I don't like to see a lot of white, so I'm going to fill that in. And then we're going to spray it with some water. It looks very tropical, huh? Bright and cheerful and tropical. Thanks for the heart, y'all. I think I said y'all in front of Elves at the show, and she was like, what did you just say? I don't know if she's still here. Thanks, Sandra. Looks better now, says Nana. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you know, some people may have stopped and then been happy with it. You could stamp on here. You could do a lot of things. Yeah, there's a whole lot of things you could do. So I'm going to just hit it all with some water. Let a little bit of magic happen. Let it kind of flow and blend. I am having fun, Renee. Thanks for coming. Ooh, I love how that looks now. It's almost like a, what is that, batik kind of print. So fun. All right, I got about 12 minutes. I gotta make some ATCs with all these backgrounds. Make sure when you heat dry, you do it on both sides. This making me want a margarita. Yeah, me too, Judy. Let's do it. Thank you, Anita. Hawaiian, yes. Yes, yes. That feels pretty dry. Yeah, so when you heat from both sides, of course, it keeps it from curling terribly. It's still a little bit bent, but by the time you make a ATC, and you mount it to a background, I think it will be just fine. Also, if you make gel prints on regular paper and you find that it's too thin, I'm looking for the one I did yesterday. It turned out better than I thought, but this was on regular printer paper, and I happened to get a good print without it tearing. So I put double-sided adhesive on the back just to strengthen it, so that when I put it onto an ATC, it'll be nice and strong. It won't be flimsy paper that I'm putting glue on the back. Yeah, I mean, wait till you see it cut down. It's really cool. I'm going to do that with a couple of these just so you can see. But here's some that I did yesterday. And I actually stamped on top of these. That's my leaf stamp from the Beetles and the Bugs. I don't know if you can see it, but it's there. Let's see. Do I have others over here? Oh, I got a whole bunch to show you. Anyway, let's cut a couple of these just so you can see what I'm talking about that whole, you know, magical thing that happens. So let's make sure we cut it so we can make an ATC. And I've got David's die right here ready to go. So I just want to make sure I don't cut away too much. And we'll die cut this real quick right here. Outline leaf stamp. Yeah, and I actually did some prints that I'll show you in a second where I pressed the leaf stamp into the jelly plate. So that was cool. All right, let's see. Thanks, Kathy. Definitely gonna make such a stencil from the dies too. Good. I please, y'all try it, and please make sure you tag Elizabeth Craft Designs and me if you think of it. But look at how pretty. So pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I love it. Let's do this one. Oh, maybe I'll make a card with that one. And I want to make a card with that one. Oh no, I want to show y'all what this looks like. So, right about there. I think I have enough to do two. Let's see. Thanks, Belinda. Yeah, Nana, I have to make 100 for the retreat in Banff, like all of us. That's why Els is making ATCs, David, Angelica, we're all doing it. Look how cool for a background on an ATC. I mean, ATCs are artist trading cards. There needs to be some art going on in there. So isn't that great? I just love it. So I'm going to make more, of course, with my leftovers. But we'll make a card with that limey kind of green one here. Where's my other one? Over there. Let's see. I kind of like this one a little bit better than this one. What do you think? They're both fun, but, and this is the one I just did. It's fun. I might do more to this later. So I think I'm going to use this one for my card. I hope you agree. Like peeled tangerine and clementines. This one. Yeah. Cool. All right, so this needs to be about 4. We're just barely going to have enough here for a regular A2 card. And like I said, this is the one that I have double-sided adhesive on the back. And we're going to put it on a black card, so that's going to look really good. Oh, I don't have quite enough of 4 inches, so it's going to be about 3 3/4. So just plan accordingly. If you're going to put it on an A2, you might want to make it a little bit bigger print when you start. But we're just going to go with that. And got a black card ready to go right here. Yeah, see, I'm going to need to make that a smaller card. That's all there is to it. I'm just going to shave a little bit off of there later. But I think that'll be pretty. So let's get this started. So what did Jackie say that you're saying me too, Karen? You're going to try this? Let's see. Yeah, let's put it right here. And then I'm going to trim my card a little bit. I could put a little border thingy down there, but It's just as easy to trim that down. Okay. I have got the background of a lime. We're going to color one lime, and that will go in the middle. So I went ahead and colored these just for sake of time because, yeah, it's getting tight. We're running down, and I got a whole bunch of ATCs I want to show you. So really, really quickly, I'm going to shift to just regular distress and color these and show you how easy that is. So mustard seed over here where all the little dimples are in our fruit. Then twisted citron, if you want a really bright, cheerful lime. Okay, and then mowed lawn. Come in a little bit more, but not as much. A little heavier on the outside, I should say. And we leave that yellow so it's like a little bit of a shine spot. And you could stop there, but the thing that really seals the deal and takes it home is to take a little bit darker green, which is, this is peeled paint, and just kind of hit those outer edges. You don't want a hard line, so if it looks a little hard, you can go back without ink on it to your mowed lawn dauber and just kind of blend that out. But that's how easy that is. And now we have two limes. We have the little leaf, and then we have this cross section of a lime that we could put on our card here. So rather than taking the time to do it all now, I'll make this card. I'll put a little phrase on here later, and I will post it on the Facebook page. But I want to show you some other things that I've got over here ready to go from playing yesterday that were so much fun. Hey, Mary, a little late to the party. Yeah, you can always watch it on replay, of course, and now it's on YouTube and Facebook. I'll save it eventually to Facebook. But I think even then it's only 30 days. I don't know. Okay, so just to point out to you, like, here's a, a gel print that I was gonna ditch. It was from this little print, and instead of ditching it, I used my die to cut out hole reinforcements to use on little tags. I also had a little bit extra and made these tag toppers. This was a gel print as well. So these are my tag variety pack. There's one there where the whole reinforcement was actually from the gel print, the background. This was part of a gel print, all of it. So it's really great to get that small scale stuff cut out of those extra bits of your gel prints. Okay, I'm going to make this one, but I'm going to save it and share it later because I've got all this fruit and oranges, and I'm going to use the orange background that we made before. But I just wanted to show you a couple of ATCs I had planned. So here is that gel plate print that I just, it was just kind of a burgundy color, very solid, but then I stamped it with the large nature stamp. I've got a little leaf ready here. I've got my hummingbird ready. I've got a second leaf, and then I've stamped a bunch of phrases. This is from my Happy stamp set, which is still available. And I just like the words and I like the font. So special, precious, happiness, and joyful, I think would be great just to accent at the end of all these ATCs. So again, I'm not going to take the time to put them all together, but I will show you all of them. Put them together while I have a sip of wine after this, and then I'll post everything. Thanks, Kendra. Thank you so much. I'll post everything in the group. So I've got my bugs, my beetles and my bugs. So here was that same gel print. Black is going to be my matte color for my ATCs. Use my picture frames and mats to cut this particular shape. Got a couple of leaves. I've got my colored little beetle there. So that's going to be one. I've got a dragonfly. Same kind of situation. This was one of those gel prints that it looked like a hot mess, but then when I cut it small, I loved it. So colorful. Leaf, dragonfly, butterfly or moth. on this one. This is that same gel print, just in a different area. Pretty cool. So I made sure I colored my moth to kind of coordinate. Thank you, Anya. Yeah, I'm getting ready to say goodbye, so I'm just showing you real quick. This was another gel print. Wasn't super thrilled about it, but I'm going to use it because I had this dragonfly already colored in those colors. I've got some black photo corners I want to pop on there. So I'm going to bang out a whole bunch of ATCs this afternoon after I hang up here. So I've got this one, same print as before. I used a jelly print to cut out this leaf. And there's a gel print from even the little tips, the little buds. And then 2 ladybugs are going to go on that one. So I'm going to be having a whole lot of fun. And my last one is this one, which was that same fun background. And I've got a little black frame here from my picture frames and mats. Got some leaves, and I've got a little beetle that's going to match that perfectly. So I'm going to go play. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me get my face back here. Yeah, so there's my shelf. Sorry about that. But thank you guys for joining me. I'm so glad it worked out that I got to dual stream today on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks so much, Katie. Thanks, Linda. Thank you, everybody, very much. Have a great weekend. And I'm sorry I don't know who's going to be here Monday, but please come back and see who won the $50 gift certificate for sure. Okay.